Welcome to Book Date with You, episode 132. Hi, everyone. And today we are going to recommend this book to you by Elizabeth Gilbert, All the Way to the River. All the Way to the River. And Elizabeth is always our favorite author, and we're very happy to recommend this book to you. And you might wondering, uh, what is this book about? Of course, I think we don't need to introduce Elizabeth to you again, right? I mean, she is the famous author of Eat, Pray, Love, Big Magic, and many, many books. And we
Yes,
love
we
her very much.
actually we actually have a book session about big magic before. I remember we
Yes.
have two sessions. This is the only book that we have two sessions talking about this book.
Yeah.
So I'll put a link below. You can check it out later. Definitely.
Yeah. You see, definitely we love her very much. And this book is actually an autobiography. I quite real of her and what happened after the book Eat, Pray, Love, right? Eat, Pray, Love was written around 2010. And this is happening many, many years after that. And this is where Elizabeth met her partners, Rayya, and this is written after Rayya passed away, 7 years after Rayya passed away. And to me, this is about how from the beginning where Elizabeth met Raya, and Raya is her hairdresser at that time,
Mm.
around 2000, around 2000, where they first met. Elizabeth was 30 years, 31 years old, married at that time, and they didn't fall in love at first met, so they gradually learn about each other and become friends. And of course, this leads to, they become partners. But unfortunately, in years, Raya caught cancers, and there's a painful journey, of course, in um, cancer treatments, and lead to her death in 2017, I think. And this book was written many, many years after her death, like 7 years after her death. So this year, 2025, right? She come out with the book to, I guess, give a memory of Rhea, and also how Elizabeth healed herself from the death.
Yeah, and
What you want to?
I started to read this book right after my dad passed away. It's such a right timing for me to explore more about love, loss, and liberation. If you happen to notice the book title, All the Way to the River, love, loss, and liberation. So, and a lot of people, including me myself back then, I asked myself what it means by all the way to the river. So before you want to understand about this title, we got to understand a little bit about what she called avenue friends. So Raya, as just now Gideon mentioned, Raya was Elizabeth's partner. So Raya, she uses a map of New York City as a metaphor for friendship and also relationships. So each avenue actually represents a different level of connections, closeness, truth, and also intimacy. So let's start with the Avenue 5, the Fifth Avenue Friends, which is the surface circle, what she's mentioned. It's the center of the map. Yes, it's like a center of the map. And so this is surrounded by those people that is social and professional connections. This type of people, they are polite, uh, polished, and presentable, and they show only best self, and you show only the best self to them, and also they also do the same. So this relationship is often very transactional and also very performative. So at the same time, there is nothing wrong about this, but it is not built for vulnerability. So let's go to the another part is called the fourth and the third avenue friends, which is the warm circle. So it's like you move a little bit center to the center, and you will relax a bit. And this group of friends, they are more laughter, more ease, more sincerity. And you may know their families, they attend their weddings, and also like share a lot of moments together. So they are real warm. This is like a type of friends like have a lot of like warm connection, and there's a gentle distance, which means that they matter to you. Yes, they matter to you, and yet they remain as your peripheral of your heart. So now you go to the center of the heart, which is the second and the first avenue of your friends, which is the inner circle. All right. This inner circle is like you're getting closer. When you're getting closer, this type of people truly, truly know you. And then they share your history, trust, and loyalty. And then they are the friends that have your back when you are having some challenge. They show up for you. They stay, and not just for celebration. And it's also about in your real life. This is called the second and the first avenue of friends. So here it comes to what it means by all the way to the river, which means that the river is a place that for those people that pass away, right? So if you are very lucky, there are one person, at least one person, that can walk you to the river. So, which means it walks with you throughout your entire life, most of your lifetime. And then it knows everything about you. So this person actually know you inside out. And then knows you when something is wrong when you say a word. And this is the person that know your secret, your deep, deep secret that you're hiding from everyone else. So that means that this person can really walk you through. And Elizabeth is the one that walk Rayya until the end of her life. So why it goes all the way to the river. And then for a lot of people, maybe there comes a point that we each of us have to find our way in the river alone, where we have no one actually walk us to the river. We may need to walk to the river alone. There is such a truth. And this book is such a touching book for me, and it's very healing as well. And it's very heart touching for me. So now, as just now Gideon shared with you, the flow of the book is like what happened to Elizabeth, how she get to know Raya, and how they can become um, um good friend, and then how they become a partner. So we got to understand one very big topic about from the book is called codependency. So Elizabeth share what is exactly codependency was about, because she was this type of person, and bring her to so many life experience that she experienced back then. So I don't know about you, Gideon. Do you feel like how courageous Elizabeth is to write this book? Like, do you
Yeah,
feel
I think is at least you need to expose your vulnerability to people.
yeah.
Especially Elizabeth is a famous author, is a public figure, and a lot of people
Yes.
know her from outside. So to
Yes.
expose yourself nakedly
Yes,
is
this is
very
the word I
difficult.
actually write down. I want to talk
Yeah,
about. Literally.
yeah, you gotta
A
expose
lot,
yourself.
yes. A lot of story that she shared. It's so real. It's very, very definitely a real story. And then she exposed a lot of heartfelt moment. So talk about codependency. What is this codependency? Which means that we need to know a little bit of definition first, right? It's an excessive emotional or psychological reliance on another person, usually someone who needs an unusually high level of support and also attention due to their struggles. It can be depression, it can be anxiety, addiction, trauma, low self-esteem, or mental illness. So how does codependency look like? This is something, a lot of us may not notice, or even ourselves, we want to notice about that more. So if someone have this habit, it's like you care more about someone else's well-being than they do. Your sense of worth comes from being needed, or you believe love must be earned through sacrifice, fixing, or self-abandonment, and you are always pouring into someone else, hoping to finally feel whole. This is how codependency looks like. It is something, if you drill down, I love psychology. I love, love, love psychology. It's like when you drill down to how someone have this codependency, it's it's just driven by the deep fear of abandonment and an intense sense of responsibility for another person's life, and the belief that loving, fixing, and saving someone else will lead to healing. This is something, we want to understand as a background when you read this book. So that's definitely a big chunk of the book also talk about um Elizabeth or even Rayya. Both of them have some experience on drugs, alcohol, and even like Elizabeth talk about she's a love and sex addicts. So this is something how she learned along the journey to be sober in all this thing. So yeah. So before we go on, I have this book have a lot of sketch, you know, sketch. Literally have a lot of sketch. So Gideon, I want
Yeah,
to
I think
ask you,
sketched by Elizabeth, right? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
it's by her. And which sketch really draw your attention, and which one do you love the most?
I think my one is not really a sketch, but I think there's a photo or picture of a old lady holding pennies. I don't know whether you remember the stories. I love the story because there's a story where after Rhea get chemo, chemo, and Elizabeth is very lost, and she just walked in New York City
Mm,
and lost and just walked mindlessly, and then she met an old lady
mm,
trying to pick up pennies, coins, I mean coins from the roadside. Uh, I don't know. I mean, Elizabeth asked the old lady, like, you know your way home? She don't know. So Elizabeth was accompany her and try to find her. I don't know. I find it very beautiful, this story where sometimes you just lost in your life and you just walk aimlessly and you may need someone just to walk along with you. I mean, that person may not know your objective, or they may not know your answer, but you just need someone to accompany you and just walk along with you.
mm,
I love that
mm.
story in the picture.
Yeah, very
How about
much.
you?
Yeah, the story, yes, I love the story a lot. And when I read, when I saw the photo, right, I, s- I have this feeling, oh dear, this old woman, right, has such a hand.
Yeah,
Her
that
hand is
old hair, wrinkles, and just
very,
pick up the pennies without any meanings. I mean, pennies in US, they can't buy anything, so
mm,
pick up. And then it gives us, I think they should give Elizabeth some of it. Yeah.
yeah. And I love the story as well. And definitely along the journey when I read this book, I cry a lot. It's a lot of tears, a lot of heartfelt moment, or how I relate to my own life experiences
Yeah.
that actually brings me back to a lot of memory and also a lot of learning in my journey. And the one that I love the most is actually having this one. Let me show you. That's a lion. Mm.
Oh, lion.
Yeah, this is talking about a lion. Let me read for this one. There's a season for giving things up. It requires the heart of a lion, though. Are you ready to walk away? Are you ready to finally be finished? This is what the sentence wrote over there.
Even a lion.
Yep. We need a lion's heart, that courage to do something, whether it's like you walk away from anything that you know that is toxic for you, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a work, whether it's someone around you or family members or whoever. It is a big, big, big courage. So we need a lion heart. Even though I don't know how is the the lion's heart look like. You know, there's one. Let me check it through. Yeah, here. You know, you didn't bring this book to my dad's funeral. When he
Yeah.
visit my me in my dad's wake, and when I hold the book, and then I don't know why I go and flip the book, and the first page that I got is actually this one. Can you see that? I
Uh,
believe you can
it's a
see
heart.
that. Yes, it's a knife cut. It's a knife, a knife is an axe.
The X through the
Yeah,
heart.
cut through the heart. Damn painful. It's super painful. And I want to highlight something I love to talk about. You know, I love science so much. And I wonder, back then, before I read this book, I already know the fact. Actually, we can get heart attack or death because of the broken heart. Which I mean by broken heart means when you have a divorce, when someone passed away, or you have romantic breakup, you literally can experience this what we call broken heart. And this broken heart, if science and medical terms, we can call it's Takotsubo, cardiomyopathy. This one it means your organ is nothing wrong. There's no blockage. Okay, your heart, there's no blockage. It means literally the arteries that feeding the heart, the small artery that feeding the heart becomes physically crushed by the acute grief that you have, which you have the broken heart. I don't wish that you have this experience. And personally, I experienced that before and, quite a few times. It is so pain. It is very, very painful. And that sketch is really bringing me back to a lot of heartfelt moments. So I just love her sketch so much. So bring back to this topic, which I must talk about before we go. It is called the Earth School. The Earth School. Elizabeth asked a question. What if Earth is nothing but a school for souls, our souls? So, what if everything in this Earth School is working exactly the way it is supposed to be working? In other words, by teaching us things that we can learn in no other way. That only you can learn through your life experience. I love this topic so much in when we talk about, sometimes we have all the hard moment, the darkness, the pain, the betrayal, all these things. We always have this victim mentality and ask ourselves this stupid question. It's called
Why me?
so stupid.
Why
Stupid
me?
question. It comes so naturally to me because I did ask this question for months and months and months and cannot get out from that stupid vicious cycle. It's called why me. I just want to let you know you will never ever get the answer. You will never ever get the answer. Even you get the answer, you may not like the answer either, right? So Elizabeth, she shared very one, very empowering and fruitful questions that you can change and reframe the why me to this question. How might this terrible situation be perfectly designed to help me to evolve? How this terrible situation be perfectly designed to help me to evolve? You may not, okay, if you are in this hardship right now, you may not understand this question. And if you are when you've gone through this situation or these circumstances, this experience, and when you look back, you will really know what exactly it means. And I encourage you to ask yourself this question when you are such in a dark moment. Ask yourself. You may find some very empowering answer as well. All right. So, and I want to read this sentence before we go also. This, I read a quote from her book. I must also remember the heartbreaking rules of Earth School. The reality is that at any given time in human life, we cannot see beyond what we understand to be true right then. We are only ever working with a level of wisdom that we have acquired up till that moment. We cannot access tomorrow's wisdom today, much less yesterday. And when wisdom finally does arrive, it often enters our mind through the pain of life lived experience. If you haven't lived the experience yet, then you don't get the wisdom.
Yeah.
That's how a school works, and you cannot skip any grades in a school. Wow.
Yeah.
Such
This is quite true. A lot of people was like regretting why they cannot do better. But I think a lot of people forget that you are handling that situation at that time, using your resources at that time, your wisdom at that time. You cannot assess yourself in the future, like after the things happen, like, oh, why can't I use the future wisdom to handle today's situation?
Yes, exactly. And I feel like such a, I love this sentence so much, this paragraph teaching me. Um, you so relate to me sometimes when I start to think that why the other people cannot do better.
Yeah,
Actually, they are doing their best, just at the level of wisdom they have at that particular moment. It's not my moment, their moment. Right. So it works always when you think back. And definitely this book talk a lot on grief, how Elizabeth go through the grief process after Raya passed away. There's so many, many moments. And then definitely grief is a moment that how she work through is she actually in the she go back to her work. She write novel a lot. She write a lot. This is how she get back to her work. And I finally also thinking that I can go back to my work fast enough. And I found that I actually need more time. So I take it slowly. I do not force myself immediately. I get into my work. I take one step at a time, one day at a time. So to heal myself and get through the grief and bereavement workshop, that's really, really helpful for me to go through the grief process and grief recovery. And I always encourage you to go and read this book. It's a thick book. I finished within days. It's very, very, very nice book to read. And anything to add on before we go, Gideon?
I think one of the things that I like so much about this book is there's a part where Elizabeth asks for help, and it's like even in your life, right? When you really need help, you really need to ask for help. I quote the book, right, and I like this sentence very much.
Mm,
There is where Elizabeth heard the voice from the above, right? You have arrived at a point in your life where you are seriously considering murdering yourself or another human beings, there's a strong possibility that you have reached the end of your power. Perhaps it's time you call somebody and ask for help.
mm,
So this is where the moment Elizabeth really want to kill Rhea because Elizabeth feels so helpless. And she heard this voice from the heaven, I think, and asked her that you need help. And for celebrity like Elizabeth, it's not easy. And I think Elizabeth talked about image management. Like you have to give up some of your image that you build up, or your ego, you let go of your self ego and tell people that you need help. Because when you ask people for help, people ask you why, what happened. And you need to expose yourself, right? And you need to tell people that you can't help your partner. Like in this case, Elizabeth asked Rhea ex girlfriend for help. So
safety. Mm,
yeah, you think about that, it's quite not easy. It's very uneasy to do that. and and it happened that her ex can help, and you
Mm.
don't feel bad, right? Because maybe different people have different ability and have
Yeah.
different wisdom, and it just happen that can help. And that's why I'm saying that, hoping that after you read this book, you know that you can get some help if you know really reach the end of your power.
She went through the 12-step recovery.
Yeah,
They have a lot of meetings together that a lot of time they share what exactly they experience, and people are there to support them. And also she has a sponsor that actually help her to go through the process of her first is like before Raya passed away, she already go to the 12-step meeting, all right, recovery meeting, and then even after Raya passed away. So I'm yes, so important to ask help. I want to bring out my own example. I rarely share with other people. When I have such a darkness of my moment, I always thought that as practitioner, I am a motivator, motivation speaker, whatsoever. And I thought I always have this idea that I can help myself. I definitely can help myself to be better. I can get back myself. And until a point, someone pointed out to me, you need to ask help. That actually opens up all the possibility. And only when I ask help, I get through a grief recovery therapy program. And that is the one that helped me to get back on my feet. That is so super critical important. Ask some professional help, right? If you don't know the resources, you can ask around whoever nearby. There are someone over there really to help you through the journey. So, yes, we are talking about a letter from love. Before we go, we must talk about this.
yeah.
Elizabeth have this letter from love from the Substack there that every single Monday, well, she will send out the email. It's like a email subscribe kind of thing that she will record a video, she will ask her questions about this. Dear love, what would you have me know today? Then you write yourself a letter, and she will read out, what she write for herself on that particular time. And this letter is download from the higher self, from the universe, like how this love would love to talk to you. So I myself also practice, and I'm very grateful. Thank you for Gideon to recommend this letter from love to me. It's like I start to um, follow every single week, and I start to write myself also letter from love. It can be such a very I want to use this word freedom. I feel very freedom when I write myself this letter. How do you feel when you write yourself this letter?
For me, I actually honestly, it's very difficult uh for people to write to your own self. Yeah. So for me, I try, but maybe just once or twice. Uh, I don't feel awkward, because I always feel that I was with myself. I mean, like, if I go out alone, people will say, "Ah, are you alone?" I will say, "No, I am with myself." They
You're
are two
not alone
person.
there.
I'm with myself.
Yes.
So it's like, so this letter to love is like, what is the person inside you want to talk to you outside, outside physically. So it's the inner self talking to yourself. So I think when I write it, I feel that the inner self may know me better, and she will always give me advice that um, maybe I still can't find. So I feel maybe feel liberate. Yeah, liberate when you write this
Yeah,
letter.
so that's why I say like freedom, right?
Yeah, freedom. Yes.
The freedom and the liberation towards when you are just writing out without any judgment to yourself. Like Literally, whatever language I want to use, I can use, right? And there's no people judge me from any part. And I love that so much. And I encourage you, I will put a link below how to go to subscribe for this. And this episode is the last episode for this year, 2025. I'm so glad and grateful. I appreciate Gideon for all the patience that you have with me, especially this year. We actually slowed down a lot for this year talking about book session because I care for my dad a lot this year. And then we will bring more books to you next year. See you and have a great new year.
Yeah, happy New Year. See you.